Cleveland-Cliffs CEO reportedly considering now another bid for U.S. Steel, but at a lower price versus the existing offer from Nippon Steel. This is according to Bloomberg. Shares of U.S. Steel sliding for a second day as President Biden voicing opposition to that planned sale to Japan's Nippon Steel, while Donald Trump recently promised to block the takeover instantaneously if he wins the presidential race in November. Biden and Trump's stance on the proposed deal coming as the two candidates face the heat of election year politics. Here to discuss now all this is Yahoo Finance's very own Rick Newman. So, Rick, give us the Rick Newman take on all this.
Steelworker jobs and union jobs, I think, are the main issue here. U.S. Steel is not the titan it once was, nor is the U.S. steelmaking industry. But guess what? It operates in Pennsylvania, where it's headquartered, my hometown of Pittsburgh, by the way, where the Steelers remain named after the steel industry. And there may not be a lot of steelworker jobs left in Pennsylvania, but there are enough for President Biden to care about it because, of course, Pennsylvania is a swing state. So he basically scotched the idea that the Japanese company Nippon Steel can buy U.S. Steel this year, but he has not solved the problem, which is U.S. Steel has just gotten too small and not profitable enough, and shareholders have been forcing some kind of action, such as a sale or some kind of consolidation. So I'm not sure that Cleveland-Cliffs coming in with basically saying, we'll buy this at a bargain basement price. I mean, that's their first offer. I'm sure they'll probably go higher. But I'm not sure that solves the problem, because part of the problem here is these big steel mills, these big, really costly steel mills are just outdated and cost inefficient. And the new model is the smaller mills that you find in the South, including some right to work states where the workers are not unionized. That's what everybody in this industry wants. So what do you do about the big mills in the South? I mean, if Cleveland-Cliffs or any domestic company were to buy U.S. Steel, but not for enough money to continue operating those big mills, you would see workers losing their jobs anyway. So we're seeing this process play out, but I think there's a lot more to come here. And I wouldn't rule out that Nippon Steel could still end up with U.S. Steel. I just don't think it's going to happen before the 2024 election, but it does seem plausible that the election is over. Nippon Steel does provide guarantees to support some of those or all of them probably that have to do union jobs, and maybe that would allow this to go through. But it's just too touchy to happen in an election season.
Well, and it's also interesting because not only are the politics domestically play a role, but the politics with China, with Japan. I almost said China because I was going to say China. Obviously, there's tension there. Japan, things are good. So in other words, does this create a problem where none existed?
No, the problem is we're losing union jobs. I mean, that is the problem. And I think in the heartland, it matters a lot less who the purchaser would be. What matters is these good paying blue collar jobs have been going away. There's no secret about that. And I think any politician would be crazy to dismiss the fact that Trump won in 2016 because for one reason he won anyway was he appealed to those blue collar workers in Midwestern states who feel like their way of life has been eroding and nobody has been doing anything about it. So there is no way Biden is going to give an edge to Trump on that in 2024, especially since Biden, he describes himself as the most pro-union president in American history. So this is about getting blue collar votes and persuading those people, especially in swing states, that somebody in Washington is watching out for them and does have their back. And I don't think it matters where the foreign purchaser would be. It could be the UK, it could be Canada, our neighbor to the north, and I don't think it would matter.
So speaking of the election, there's some new Quinnipiac numbers out today, and in particular, they look at Michigan, which is another state that's going to be key in the race. And it looks like there that, I don't know. I'm seeing this number here that Donald Trump has more support, although I'm seeing in the text that also Biden does have some support there. So it depends on what the race looks like, I guess.
Yeah, and we're going to have tons of little data points like this during the next 7 months. Quinnipiac actually describes that as a head-to-head outcome because that 3-point margin that Donald Trump has is within their margin for error. We're going to keep talking about this. The thing to look for in Michigan blue collar state. Biden did go there, and he stood on a picket line with the United Auto Workers last year. Again, trying to show some solidarity with union workers. But there's also a heavier Arab American presence in Michigan than in most other states, and that's the state where some of those voters, they put down the famous uncommitted when they went to the Democratic primary a few weeks back, just to signal their displeasure with Biden, a little too staunchly behind Israel, they are saying, and not standing enough behind the Palestinians. So that is a factor. I mean, many things to navigate here for Biden, given wars overseas and difficulties in the U.S. economy. So I guess if I were Biden, I would interpret that poll as definitely more work to do in Michigan.
All right, well, we'll keep in touch with you as we get all those other little data points you were referring to.
Betcha.
Thanks.
I'll be back.
Thank you.